anyways, let's get into the Cleric.
How long did we go for on
1
the
hour.
species? We talked for an hour on the species?
We
Well,
were
we
not
did-
talking about the species, Drew. We were talking about God of War
We
Ragnarok.
talked about God of War Ragnarok until Mark 23 or 24.
Okay.
So,
all right,
So,
I'll take it.
Yeah, we talked about the species for 35 minutes. So let's move on to the Cleric, which is the new class that we got here in One D&D. Hi, my name is Seth Pittman. I'm joined by my two best buds, Zachary Carvon and Andrew Romano. We're still on the last episode, but you're hearing it next week.
This is weird. Now, I'm sorry you guys have to wait a whole extra week to hear about these clerics. I know you all have been waiting for this upgrade to clerics that they've desperately needed within D&D, so I'm sorry we waited this long to get this to you.
And let's just talk about how cool the Cleric is here in the One D&D Under Arcana. Zach, will you start us out with just some of the baseline abilities?
Yeah, well, I'll talk about the first thing that I hate, and we've talked about it before, and I'm gonna discuss it now. So
You're wrong, Zach.
yeah, Drew, this is the one thing that you agree with me on.
Oh, okay.
here.
Well, I'll accept it then.
Yeah, so in the expert classes, Unearthed Arcana, we had the Bard and the Ranger with their new spell system. So now, rather than having a spell slot table that demonstrates how many spell slots you have for each level, and then you preparing your number of spells separately from that, we now have the prepared spells. Prepared spells per spell level table, which limits the spells that you can prepare slightly. So previously, and I was worried that this would extend to clerics, and it looks like it's going to go for all classes. So that sucks. But basically, previously in 5e, you could prepare a cleric could prepare a number of spells equal to their spellcasting ability modifier plus their level. Now it's dictated on this table, and I done the counting, and when you get to level 20, a +5 wisdom mod, you have 3 fewer spells, and at each level you'll probably have 1 or 2 fewer spells than if you had a +5 wisdom mod. I don't love this, especially because a first level cleric is only going to have 2 spells, which seems like way too few for a cleric. Which, in 5th edition, they would not only have, probably either a 3 or 4 from their ability mod, +1 for their level, +2 from their domain. That's a difference of 7 spells at level 1 versus 2 spells at level 1. That feels kind of stinky, but, it is what it is.
No, I agree. I'm still not a fan of the new spell prep system. It just feels weird. It feels restrictive. I won't be using it at my table. I'm pretty sure Seth would be cool if I just picked my own spells and prepared them in different levels, sets. I don't think there's really any problem with it. It feels very much so as a player that has been playing for so many years. I pick my own spells. You don't tell me what to pick. I don't get to pick from your quick spell list.
Well, that's not what he's saying. He's talking about the way you prepare them. You still pick your own spells.
You do pick your own spells, but there's only...
No, I get what the
restriction
limitation
on it.
is. I'm going to be honest, guys. I don't hate it.
Really?
But I don't like it, but I don't hate it. Now, here's why. Because I find it's extremely simple to do it this way. I don't like that. I would want to play it with whatever the spells they have in the new player's handbook. I don't want to test this with our spells because the spells we have right now, there are too many good ones in different ranges. Like, there's so many good spells that it's like, oh, I want to have a lot of spells, right? I don't know what our spells are going to look like in the next player's handbook, and I want to see a lot of those before I make my judgment on this, because it might be at a PowerPoint where when we look at it, like, oh, I want to have 4 first level and 3 of this and 3 of that, and I get it. It's not like it's not super customizable as opposed to how it was. But I kind of like that at level 1 you have access, like you are a little more restricted. You don't just have 9 spells on lock, because I do think of my level 1 character as like a beginner adventurer, and they've already learned so much apparently. Like, if I just discovered, like, say we started off the campaign and I was playing a cleric who like just got like initiated into like a church or something like that. Like I just got my wings, city gets attacked, these other adventurers are here to stop it, and I'm joining in for the first time. Okay, I'm gonna use magic for the first time. Here we go. And you have the ability to just do 9 of these crazy abilities. Now, obviously, they're not all going to come up because you have limited spell slots. They're not all going to happen at once. But it is kind of cool that it'll scale so much along the way. Like when you get to that point where you have 4 first level slots and 2 second level slots, it's like, oh my god, I just jumped up 3 more spells for this next level. This is crazy. So I don't hate it like progression wise. I think it works really well progression wise. But also I don't love it with the current selection of spells we have, because I agree, when I look at all the spells, I'm like, okay, well, if I want to have the build I want to have, I need to have 5 second level spells and, 3 first level spells and not 4 and 3, reversed. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of 2 minds on it, where like I don't dislike it, but if it is in One D&D like this, I want to try running it for a while as is written to try it.
Yeah, I see your point and where you're coming from. I still disagree. I feel like if you're a first level adventurer and you're someone who's capable of casting these spells, then you've tested your mettle. I mean, you're better than, most priests that exist, because most priests that exist can't cast spells like this. You are already the cream of the crop as a first level cleric because you've tapped into something that very few people can. So having a couple more spells, I don't think that ruins my fantasy of that. But I'm okay with the progression as it is. I don't think it's going to ruin my my time, because all these other options that they've given us are really cool.
Really cool. There's so much stuff to do as each character. I love it.
My one last complaint before we get into those, like you mentioned, at third level, you get 3 extra spells. That's fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
Because now you get your cleric subclass at that level too. So you're not going to be getting 3 extra spells. You're getting 3 extra spells plus your domain spells for a total of 5 extra spells on that one level.
So
why couldn't that have come at first level?
Maybe depending on all of these like subclass additions and the domain spells and all that, maybe that's where most of your customization is going to come in, because those domain spells are going to start at those lower levels. So you are still going to have a lot.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. What I'm hearing a lot of is that very early game progression and feeling that strength grow relatively quickly, which I think is great and it's very cool. But as a player who's been playing for so long, and a good example of this is with our last campaign, we didn't start, or I think of this campaign, we didn't start at level 1.
Our Storm Kings we did.
At Storm Kings we did, but we decided after that it was very cool, but that the beginning gameplay is a little slow.
Yes.
Right? So as players have been playing for a long period of time, I still feel like often I'm going to start at level 3, right? That's where I want to start. I want those subclass options. I want those extra spells. I don't necessarily want to be a level 1 adventurer because I just killed a god last week.
But we do have level 1 feats now to go along, so we've already been buffed at level 1.
And Goliaths have their friggin' crazy bullshit, and every other race has
every other race is going to have so much stuff to do. You're not going to be strapped for stuff at level 1. So now, honestly, you only got 2 spells to worry about because you got so much stuff you can do at level 1 now if you're a first-time player.
That's fair. True. That's true. Speaking on the spell restriction, very lightly, the subclass that we get within, and I won't go too deep into it, but the subclass we get here within this UA is the Life Cleric. And the Life Cleric, from my understanding previously, got the domain spells Cure Wounds and Bless. Those were your 2 spells that were added to your spell list. They were given to you. You had them. You did not have to prepare them. They were just extra for you. Of course, you have to use spell slots you have to expend them to use the powers. But those 2 spells, at least in my mind, someone who loves clerics to death, that's 2 solid staple spells right there. If you get those spells, you can pick anything else you want because you've covered the bare necessities of cleric. So at first level, if you can only prepare 2 spells, you're going to be preparing Cure Wounds and Bless half the time, right? Those are 2
and those are precisely what they choose Cure Wounds and Shield of Faith as your first level, but Bless is second level.
So I do feel a little bit robbed at first level, not getting just like my basic necessities, because then I do have to kind of wait to hit my basic foundation of cleric, which is healer.
Right. You say that, but let's get into what happens at level 1. So at level 1, you get Channel Divinity, which is this used to be locked to your domain as a cleric. Now you get it as all clerics do at level 1. So, things to get into here, your Channel Divinity DC is still the same as your spell DC. That hasn't changed. But you can now use your Channel Divinity a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus rather than just once or twice, which is huge because it's really awesome what they've done with it. So now at first level, you have Divine Spark as a Channel Divinity option. As a magic action, which is something that's also been added here. In the rules glossary, they discuss it as when you activate a magic item or cast a spell or otherwise do like a class feature that says it's a magic action.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that later. I got some thoughts on it.
Yeah, but in any case, you take a magic action and point your holy symbol at another creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself. You roll a number of d8s equal to your proficiency bonus, so at level 1, 2d8. And add the rolls together, you either restore hit points to that creature or force them to make a con save. On a failed save, they take radiant damage equal to the total, or on a successful save, they take half. That's at first level. You have an automatic 2d8, either healing or harming spell.
Twice.
That you can do twice. That's essentially a much more powerful 2 spell slots at your disposal that you can use for... Like you said, Drew, I'm required to take Cure Wounds at first level. No, you are not.
You have 2 heals right there.
You have 2 heals with 2d8. You don't add your Wisdom mod to that, so to be fair, it could be 2
Hopefully
healing.
you have to roll well. Please roll well.
But it's there, and you also have that same option for damage, so you're not strapped for, I really wish I could take Guiding Bolt at first level. I mean, you still can, but you get that option, so... I'm in love with this new feature, and it scales with your proficiency bonus. So the way that I like to think of it is it's like a more powerful cantrip. Every time your Sacred Flame gets a D8, so does this. So it's essentially you've got a more powerful Sacred Flame to throw out, or a more powerful Cure Wounds at every step of the way. So I'm a big fan of that. And in addition, they have Turn Undead. It's just like Turn Undead in the player's handbook, as far as I can tell, but they do add the stipulation that a creature is dazed for 1 minute. So now that they've got a new status, and let me actually scroll down to see what it does. So while dazed, you can either move or take one action on your turn, but not both. You also can't take a bonus action or a reaction. And then while they're dazed in this way, they, I believe they have to use their one thing to move away from you. Let's see.
With Turnitin, I don't think they... I'm sorry, I was even talking to the microphone. I don't believe they run away anymore. I think they're just dazed, if I'm not mistaken.
No, so it says the while dazed in this way, the only action the creature can take is the dash action, and if it moves, it must end that move farther away from you than where it started. So that is confusing wording, though, because they're dazed, so they should only be able to move or take an action. So they shouldn't be... If they take the dash action, then they're not moving.
Well, but they're yeah. Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Well, or maybe if they did, then I'd say like they gain half their speed, which would then just be a regular movement. So I'm not... Clear that up, Wizards of the Coast. But I see what you're going for.
Well, if they take an
there.
action and it's the dash action, they have 30 feet of movement. So...
Yeah, exactly.
So either way, they're running 30 feet.
That's my understanding. I feel like they should be able to dash the whole way, though, so maybe the throwing dazed in there just made it confused. It's dazed and confused.
Well, that probably needs to be rewarded more, too.
I think it definitely needs a little bit of clarification. But I actually love the dazed effect for some reason, and I think it's because the slowed condition came out in the last one, or the one prior, and I didn't care for slowed. It felt weird. It felt like they were trying to take a spell and make a condition out of it, because slow is a 3rd level spell that does very similar effects, right? It felt very strange to me, and at the time I was actively using that spell frequently as a wizard. And
Great spell.
It's very good. It just threw me off a little bit. The daze to me feels a little bit better as a player or a DM, to be perfectly honest. The idea that you have to choose between your movement or your action, technically, if you're not going to move, you still get your full turn, right? You can make do with it, but you're still restricted lightly, right? It's not like the fear mechanic where there's like nothing you can do. If you attack, it's disadvantage. You can't move any closer, blah. Like there's still options, but you are being debuffed by the enemy, which I think is neat. Also, flavorfully, I think it's cool that you get hit really hard and you're dazed. So you're like, your vision's all fuzzy, and you can either try to get away or take that one swing through the fog of your eyes as you're squinting, trying to get your balance back, stand back up. I think it's pretty neat. I really dig it.
I like it. On as far as the blah blah the first level thing.
Divine Spark.
The Divine Spark thing, love it. Think it's great. I think it covers those essentials that you need. You need some healing, you need some damage. So now your spells you can kind of do what you want with. And as far as like turn undead goes, I don't really care. I never see turn undead used anyways.
Yeah, but I will say turn undead does feel like the staple feature of the cleric.
Yes.
So it's nice if at first level you run into some undead, which isn't an unlikely thing. Skeletons exist, zombies exist.
Not even at just first level. Like that'll happen at any point in the campaign.
Yeah, but being a cleric at first level, running into some skeletons, boy, would that feel bad, huh?
My gosh.
It's like, I sure wish I were second level right now so I can do my channel divinity. This is my only chance in this campaign to turn these undead, and I missed it because I'm not the right level. So
yeah.
I feel like putting it at first level just makes sense. And I have no other thoughts about that. At second level, as we mentioned before, the cleric would typically get their channel divinity. Now, there's something called the Holy Order. And this is something that I'm a big fan of. So you astute listeners at home might have thought, well, hey, I don't get my domain at first level. Does that mean I don't get my proficiencies or, whatever extra stuff that I got from my domain at first level? And yeah, that's right. Maybe I don't love that aspect of it so much, but now they've moved that to second level. So the way I like to think about it is sort of like a fighting style. Fighters get to choose their specialization of how they fight. As a cleric, at second level, you get to choose your specialization of what kind of cleric you are.
I'm in love with that.
Yeah, so when you think about the cleric, there's probably a couple different looking characters that come to mind. For me, a cleric is definitely a guy in heavy armor with like a mace and a holy symbol, but there's a shield and a very tanky character. But clerics are spellcasters first and foremost, and they do not have to do anything in melee. So the options here sort of represent the different focuses that your cleric might have. So you can take the Protector Holy Order, which is trained for battle. You gain martial weapon proficiency and heavy armor training. Scholar, and again, training now they're calling it instead of proficiency. I don't know why they're doing that, but
it's fine. Whatever.
Sure, whatever. Scholar, you gain proficiency in 2 of the following skills of your choice, either Arcana, History, Nature, Persuasion, or Religion. And when you make an ability check using those skills, you gain a bonus to the check equal to your Wisdom modifier. So that's pretty cool. Or you can do Thaumaturge. Can you tell by the way that I said Thaumaturge that this is the one I'm excited about?
Oh, yeah.
Delving deeper into your divine magical abilities, you can prepare 1 extra 0-level spell, which here's a pet peeve.
Just call them cantrips, dude.
Or just call them 0-level spells, but they're calling them both in here, and it's driving me up the wall. Like, they say cantrips and 0-level spells or level 0 spells. Just fix the wording. I like the word cantrip, but if you want to call it a 0-level spell, that makes sense for new people too. I'm fine with that, but just pick one and let us get on with it. But in any case, you get an extra cantrip from the divine spell list.
Call them core spells or something like that. Like, I don't know,
Sure,
something.
Just pick whatever you're gonna call it. Just call it that.
Or just call it cantrips. We all know what cantrips
we're used to
are.
cantrips.
It didn't take me more than 3 seconds when I understood what a cantrip was to know what it was.
Yeah, it's like, hey, these are spells you can use whenever.
Yeah, it's a free spell. Got it. I don't need to think about it in numerical terms. I get it. But in any way, in addition, so you get your cantrip, but in addition, you regain 1 expended use of your channel divinity whenever you finish a short rest.
That's great.
That's so strong. That is. You got to think regular clerics, right? Before you get here, they get 2 or 3 channel divinities, I think, max, which they're unbelievably.
Yeah, I think at 17th level you get your 3rd.
I think so. It takes forever. Yeah,
you get
right?
your 1st at 2nd level. You get your 2nd at 6th level. Already at base, a Thaumaturge cleric has at 1st level 2, and they can get 1 back on a short rest.
Yeah, that's if you take the old one, right? With this new one, getting that one channel divinity back is insane. Think of all the options you have for the different clerics of all those different divinities you could use. You can max out damage. You can super strike people +10 to your hit. There's insane things you can do with these channel divinities. You can get up to 6 of them, and with this thing, you get level 2, right? At level 2, you can get one back. That's ridiculously strong. I think that may be, right next to having up to 6 channel divinities, that's got to be the next strongest thing on the list right there. And honestly, one of the most flavorful things, because the channel divinity, for me, and I assume for a lot of other people, is a big reason why you pick a certain cleric to play.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Yeah, if you want to play Thor, you want to play this lightning god, lightning cleric, you be the Tempest cleric, right? And that's because they get a super cool channel divinity where they do massive lightning damage, right? That's where it's all about. So we're getting this good strength right here, but there's so much flavor in this too. It lets you do more of what you want to do.
And it just kind of makes sense for the cleric. They got some rest time. They got time to think. They got time to, pray to their god. And now they've got more power again. They needed a little bit of a good recharge because, the wizard gets actual spell slots back. So
that's true.
Getting some of their abilities back only makes sense.
One other thing I do want to say about this level 2 ability that you're getting. Right off the bat, this is the first member of the priest class, or the priest group, we're calling them now. So you have the cleric, you have the druid, and you have the paladin, I want to say, right? So this is the first one that we're seeing in this new UA, right? It's very exciting, and we're obviously seeing some very priestly things, lots of healing, lots of channel divinity options, godly might, right? But at level 2, when you get to pick between these things, they very much so feel like you're already dipping into some of these other groups, which is very cool, right? So the protector option, obviously, you're dipping just a tad bit. You're taking your cleric and you're dipping it into the warrior group, right? If you pick the scholar option, you're dicking. You're
dicking around with some bards.
You're dicking
in the
some
expert
bards and
group.
rogues. That's where this is going. And then the thaumaturge, obviously, you're dipping into the mages.
Well,
so
and think about it. If you wanted to be like a cleric who used to be a knight or whatever, you could also take a background feat, lets you take an extra fighting style or something like that as a cleric, and then on top of taking the protector subclass or
Holy Order.
Yeah, Holy Order. Mm-hmm. Boom. Now you've got your melee cleric, who used to be a knight.
And I love that they're making it so much easier to play whatever which it was already very easy to play whatever you want as a cleric. Biggest fan, obviously, but even more options. It's just compounding options. I'm so excited. I could play clerics for the next 2 years. I wouldn't have done all the options at this point.
Yeah, well, that made me slide even more in favor of I like limiting your spells so you don't have too much stuff.
Never mind, I hate all those ideas.
Where it's they just gave you all this stuff by level 2 and 3. What's gonna happen? Because at the next level, we get our subclass.
Yeah, and we'll dive into the life domain once we get through the rest of these, I think.
Yeah, the base stuff. But yeah, you get your subclass here, where you're gonna be getting extra spells and extra abilities based on your subclass.
Yeah, I'm definitely not feeling like this cleric is hurting for power at all. It's really just the veteran player in me that says, well, but before we had this.
Yeah, no, I definitely get it. I don't play as much. I see what's at the table. I honestly feel like that system might be better for our game, and it just might be I'm sad they're taking something away. Because so far, we've only just been given stuff. We're just being given stuff. And Drew, if you want to avoid power creep, you got to give up some stuff.
I refuse. Not from clerics. Clerics can't give up anything.
You got to this is for all the other classes too.
That's where it's actually very difficult for me right now, because I'm reviewing all of this and I'm taking it in, and I love the change to cleric overall. But like I said, there's just a couple things with the spell restrictions. How dare you nerf my boy? This is my baby right here. You're taking my powers away. Get out of here. What are you doing?
Yeah. Now I definitely understand it.
Yeah,
I'm okay with us having slightly different opinions on it.
It's fine. It's fine.
Additional thing to talk about the Holy Order before we move on. First of all, I am curious if we'll see anything like this with the Druid or Paladin coming up, or if this is just a Cleric thing. I feel like it would be weird if the Paladin had something like this, just because they're, I feel like the Paladin's a martial class. I think it belongs in the Warrior group. I've made that clear before. But I feel like they definitely need more of a fighting style than something like this.
I think it would be cool if they had both.
But that's my thought.
If they had a Holy Order and a fighting style.
Yeah, what if they get the option to choose, Thaumaturge is one of their options instead of a fighting style? I think that would be awesome.
That would be pretty sick, actually.
Oh yeah, like they slide in a couple different ones. Like they don't really need the scholar because they're not a scholar. What if they were? What if they did get some of the fighting styles as well as like thaumaturge or something like that?
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Well, but we'll see. And then additionally, you get a second holy order at 9th level. So you choose your first one at 2nd level, but then later on you can say, all right, well, yeah, I went thaumaturge at 2nd level, but I'd really like those extra bonuses to my ability checks at 9th for I'll go scholar, or maybe you say, all right, finally I'm gonna put on some heavy armor at 9th level. Maybe a weird choice, but
I hope we get a bigger selection of holy orders as well as a bigger selection of fighting styles in the upcoming stuff. Just because 3, like originally when we had like 3 fighting styles, it always did feel very limiting. I like all the new fighting styles they've come up with over time, and I'm like, oh yeah, let's get a good table of this stuff to where it's very, very different. Which we'll get to that with the warrior subclass and everything. Up next,
at 4th level they get a feat. We've discussed before, we're replacing the wording of ability score increase with feat. Now feat is the default. I love that. At 5th level, there's a newly worded, and honestly, it's a new feature. Before they had destroy undead at 5th level, which was honestly a super underpowered feature. We've talked about it before. How often are you running into skeletons at 5th level, really? But now it's called smite undead. So you can cause your turn undead feature to smite the undying whenever you use turn undead. You can roll a number of d8s equal to your proficiency bonus and add the rolls together. Each undead that fails its saving throw against that use of turn undead takes radiant damage equal to the roll's total. That is so cool because it's like a combination of, so we've got the divine smite, it's a single target radiant damage thing. Now I extend it out to all of my my turn undead, and not only that, when you use it, it's not negated by the power of this undead creature. You're like, oh boy, I sure wish we had some skeletons here so I can destroy undead. Yeah, it's super cool when they all die instantly, but you know what'll also do that? 3d8 of radiant damage.
Yeah,
and
will.
It'll also deal damage to the whites that are also there. So that's super cool.
God, the whole time you were talking, Zach, I could only imagine 3 clerics walking into Curse of Strahd. And like 3 of the new clerics and being like, oh yeah, we're here to kill Strahd von Zarovich.
It'd be easy.
Yeah, and it would be awesome. Like imagine the whole thing is like Strahd is just staying in his castle, not like minding his own business, like fuck, those guys are coming. Like
one thing that I did hear about, WebDM. I'm sure you all, maybe you've heard of them. They do D&D content online. The way that they played through Curse of Strahd, so both of them were already familiar, but they had someone else DM them. It was a 2-person party. One of them played a paladin, and one of them played a cleric, and they went through it. And honestly, I feel like you could definitely do Curse of Strahd, super deadly campaign, very difficult, but so much undead presence there. Like if you know what you're doing, you could easily get away without reducing the challenge of anything because clerics are so good against undead.
Well, you know what? I am going to play in this one day. I might just have to be a cleric. I don't know.
Well, we had a cleric in our party, and it was great. It was
Carried you
awesome.
through?
Yeah,
your daughter.
Yeah, she came out in certain moments and just wrecked whenever we needed her to. Okay, so moving on. What are the rest of our cleric abilities?
Yep, at 6th level, they get a subclass feature now. At 7th level, we've moved. So before we had, I forget exactly what it was called, but it was like a, maybe it is Blessed Strikes. I don't remember.
I don't think it was called Blessed
No,
Strikes.
I love these Blessed Strikes, how they're written, though.
So I didn't like them in the old books because they were very confusing, and I think they differed too much from cleric to cleric. But this one is more simplified, it's easy to understand, and I think it's just a good ability overall.
Yep. So when you use a cantrip or you make an attack with your weapon, you can also deal 1d8 radiant damage to that creature. Once you deal this damage, you can't use this feature again until the start of your next turn. That's it.
Yeah, so once a turn, you get an extra d8 of damage if you hit. Great.
Yep.
Awesome.
And it's more or less just like it used to be in the player's handbook, but back then it was based on your domain. So, okay, you get extra damage to your cantrips or your weapon attacks. Now it's just both by default. Just like the revised or optional feature from Tasha's. So
yeah,
okay.
I like them. I think they're great.
Yep. Nothing more to say. At 11th level, you get Divine Intervention. Let's see. I don't recall how it was changed. Maybe Drew, you know a little bit more about Divine Intervention than I do.
So it's still pretty much the same. Instead of waiting, I think if you failed it before, I want to say you could use it the next day if you failed it. And then if you passed it, you had to wait like 7 days or something like that. With this new feature, if the intervention occurs, you can't use this feature again for 2d6 days. So you roll for it now. It's a little different. Otherwise, you can use it again after you finish a long rest.
That's how long your god pouts after you don't summon him.
But, I mean, yeah, there's nothing too different about it beyond the fact that you used to get it at level 10. So they did push it up one level. You do have to wait one longer.
It's not going to change much.
Doesn't change much, to be honest. I think it's fine because every level you go up with Divine Intervention, it just increases your chances of it actually working. So one extra level, it's really not a big deal. I don't think it changed anything crazy. It's fine. Whatever works, you know.
The one time we've ever seen it used, it worked. So.
Yeah,
It's true. It did.
Yeah, that's the thing. Divine Intervention hasn't been used super often at our table, but I will specify so they don't tell you that you can't do what you did, which was super awesome. You had like an avatar of a particular deity come down, and it was more powerful than the avatar of Asmodeus, essentially.
Well, yeah, it wasn't that it was more powerful. It just separated his aspect from the aspect of the character he was enveloping.
Yeah, so but super cool feature. Now they do rein it in a little bit, where they say the DM chooses the nature of the intervention. The effect of any divine spell is appropriate.
Right. So you can do whatever you want with it, but they're saying, hey, if you don't want to think too hard about this or get creative with it, here you go. Like, this is appropriate. Like, it's okay if you just choose a 9th level spell and have it happen.
Yeah.
Which is
cool.
kind of crazy because to me, this is the closest you get to Wish at 11th level. Yeah. I mean, because what Wish does, or what you're most likely going to do, is you're going to wish for a 1 through 8 spell to cast, right? Of any kind. That's what Wish does, core mechanic. And you could do that same thing here with any of the divine spells, but up to level 9 even. So, in a sense, it's a little baby Wish.
I always see a divine intervention coming in for something like saving the life of an ally or killing a monster that you need it to kill. So it's easy to be like, here, I'll take the 9th level cleric spell, or like I'll do a meteor swarm but radiant damage, you know? Stuff like that. It's like, okay, cool, we'll make that happen.
But now it's
True
core.
resurrection.
But now it's exactly, you could call Save My Friend, and by the
And they come
rules
back
of
as
the
a
book.
dog.
True.
I mean, yeah.
Why?
Resurrection is also a
True resurrection changes their form. It changes their species. So, but I'm
no true resurrection
does
doesn't.
not. That's reincarnation does.
Reincarnation.
Oh, I'm dumb.
Dude, do you even know clerics?
No.
And then their last thing, if we're done with divine intervention, at 18th level they get greater divine intervention. When you use it, it succeeds automatically. You don't have to make a roll. That used to be at 20th level, but again, we're moving the capstones down to 18th level.
So no matter what, God helps you.
Yeah, at 18th level, I feel like that's a little strong, but to be fair, it is just the effect of any 9th level spell, and you do have a 9th level slot.
At that point, I would have you roll still, just to see if you roll lower, that a godly effect happens, you know? And then if you don't roll lower, then just the effect of like a 9th level spell goes off instead.
That's kind of cool.
Just to be
I
like,
think that's a fun house rule.
Yeah, I think that's really fun for it because it's like, hey, if this is going to go off no matter what, like we're going to use the effect of a spell unless...
Okay. No, I actually love that because it still gives you a little bit of like a gambling feel.
Or even just like roll a d20, and if you roll a 20, something really special happens, you know?
Ooh. Okay, I'm into that. I am into it. But I do like the new Divine Intervention. It's cool. It feels a little cleaner than the last one, a little stronger. I'm into it.
All right, so why don't we go ahead and dive into the subclass a little bit. Those are the base cleric abilities. I like them. They feel good, especially those early level abilities.
Yes, so we only have the one subclass right now. Although I should mention at level 20 you do get the boon.
Yeah, epic boon. That's from now on. It seems that that's going to be the 20 level feature.
And they talk about it a little bit. There's a couple boons that they recommend, or at least ones you can pick as a cleric. They're fine.
We need more
They're
detail.
cool.
We need more boons and more details for them to matter. And also, the only time I'm going to get to use an epic boon is for the 4 sessions that were level 20 in the campaign, or if we do a level 21 off. So again, they don't really matter that much.
So we'll wait a little longer to go over some of those. But with the Life Domain Cleric, So you don't get your domain spells anymore at level 1. You have to wait till level 3. But at level 3, you do get Lesser Restoration and Prayer of Healing, which is cool. Lesser Restoration can come up to be pretty handy from time to time. Definitely not as good as Greater, but, it's a 3rd level thing you're getting. Prayer of Healing, we'll talk about that in a minute, because that has been revamped. It's kind of crazy. I'm a little mad, but a little excited. I'm a little
I have
confused.
not read it.
I'm super excited about it.
It's
actually.
pretty insane. But we'll get to it in a minute. In a lot of the discourse you're hearing online, people are talking about this being basically the first staple of healers now, being the first subclass of cleric in the new One D&D. So the healer, the life domain is all about healing. And you get that right away at 3rd level. You get the Disciple of Life ability. Your healing spells are empowered by life itself. When a spell you cast with a spell slot restores hit points to a creature, that creature regains additional hit points on the turn you cast the spell. The additional hit points equal 2 plus the spell's level. This is very similar to the old ability, the life domain. It's really not that different. Something talked about a lot online, apparently I had never thought of this exploit, is people were using this with good berry. And so what they were doing was having all of their good berries heal the extra, 2 plus the spell's level, right? So good berries, a 1st level spell?
Yeah, so you could eat a handful of good berries, and instead of it dealing or giving you 10 hit points, it gives you 30.
Which is absolutely nuts. They actually came out in I can't remember. It was one of the big cheese guys of D&D, But he came out and he admitted that it was sort of an oversight of some sort, that they had overlooked this in the past, and it's officially fixed. But 3rd level, getting extra healing anytime you cast a healing spell, I'm not going to turn it down. It's handy. It's cool. Why not? Drew,
I don't want to interrupt you, but it took me a minute to think, who's the big cheese guy of D&D?
Big cheese guy,
It's Jeremy Crawford.
No.
You're talking about Jeremy Crawford, and all I'm thinking about is him sitting in a French cafe.
I was
with a
imagining
beret and trying different cheeses.
and I was imagining Jerry Crawford playing Pokemon Go, and he's got a pink Groudon on his screen.
Oh yeah,
my
of course.
gosh.
It's actually a yellow Groudon.
Is
It's
it
the
yellow?
Shiny. Yeah.
Oh, pink Kyogre.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
exactly.
thinking, because I had a pink Kyogre.
Seth, you don't know Pokemon, you don't know Clerics. Come on, man.
Dude, yeah. It's that day.
But, advancing into the 6th level, we get Preserve Life. Preserve Life, you can use your Channel Divinity to heal a group of the critically injured. As an action, you expend 1 use of your Channel Divinity, that you get multiple of, by the way, just throwing it out there, and present your Holy Symbol, restoring a number of hit points equal to 5 times your Cleric level. Choose any creatures within 30 feet of yourself. You can choose yourself, which is always neat. And divide those hit points among the chosen creatures. This feature can bring a creature's current hit points to no more than half its hit point maximum.
Just like before, right?
Yes. So from my understanding, this has not been reworked at least too extensively. This sounds exactly like the old ability. It's really, really strong if you're all hurt. If everyone's full health, it's not as strong, but it is a very strong healing ability.
Well,
that you
but
get.
also, if one person is hurt, you can put all of that into the one person.
And think about it this way: at 6th level, you now have a pool of 90 hit points that you can heal. I mean, the case isn't going to come up where you have a creature with 180 hit points that's down to 1 that you need to get all the way back up to that halfway mark. But you have this incredible amount of healing. It's honestly a little disgusting how much healing you have, just because of those extra uses of Channel Divinity. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for it.
No, I'm cool with it.
But super cool.
I'm all for the power because I want to destroy you.
See, I like it because, healing abilities are always fun, but the idea that you can heal that much in a single turn. One thing I don't like about it that I just thought of off the top of my head is now the Spark ability that we talked about earlier. I wonder if for the life domain Cleric, if that's just not going to be as useful anymore.
Well,
because of the massive amount of healing. Yes, you can only go up to half.
Yeah.
But if you're
I'm
healing,
sure it will. With any Cleric, once you get the 3rd level spells, really, your Divine Spark is not your optimal choice. But
yeah, we'll have to see more subclasses to see what theirs are like.
yeah, I guess you use it more so as a damage type.
Yeah, you could just
I
use it as
suppose.
damage instead.
Yeah, I guess that's okay. All right, cool. 10th level, Blessed Healer. The healing spells you cast on others heal you as well. That's awesome. When you cast a spell with a spell slot on another creature that restores hit points to it, you regain hit points equal to 2 plus the spell's level on the turn you cast the spell.
Man, think about this in character though. you start to heal someone, but you start healing too, and they're like, "Why are you using it on yourself?
Stop!
They're like, use it on me.
Selfish healer.
You're wasting energy."
What? Now, Drew, I don't know if you recall this with your encyclopedic knowledge of clerics.
Of course.
But did they get their subclass, this subclass feature at 10th level? Because I feel like this might be a little high for this.
I don't know if it was 10th level.
I feel like it was their 6th level feature, and now their 6th level feature is replaced by their Channel Divinity, which they got at 2nd level.
I'm actually curious to look now. Because it is a very good ability. It does seem to me a little on the lower end for a 10th level kind of ability.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure clerics didn't get a subclass feature at 10th level. So they got one at, they got their domain at 1st level. They got their Channel Divinity at 2nd. They got their subclass feature at 6th. And then they got their final ability at 14th.
Probably just a symptom of them moving all the classes to match. So that way they're all getting comparable abilities at all the same levels.
Yeah, I prefer this layout, but just something to point out because I do feel like Blessed Healer, for a 10th level ability, maybe bump that up by 1. You get 3 hit points plus the spell's level back. I don't know.
No, I'm not opposed. I will say at this point, it does feel very strong, though, when you're actually playing the Cleric, because you already have other abilities that are enhancing your healing. So if you're casting just one first level Cure Wounds on you, Zach, if I'm casting it on you, so you're healing for the Cure Wounds, right? You're also then getting the extra healing from Blessed Healer, and I'm also getting healed from the Disciple of Life, right? So it's a ton of healing off just a first level Cure Wounds or any spell, really, even if you're using your Channel Divinity.
That's what it's all about.
That's true.
It's all about healing. It does stack up, which feels very powerful in the right moment. So it is pretty cool.
If you don't want to have a party barbarian, just go with Life Cleric.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Everybody can take
it.
all the hits.
One thing I'm confused about, though, which comes up twice now in the subclass, where are they getting this 2 number? Where is 2 coming from? It says 2 plus the spell's level. And it comes up in the beginning with Disciple of Life as well, 2 plus the spell's level. Where is 2 coming from? Is it just a number they picked out of the air?
I don't know.
It's because it's not a proficiency bonus. So it just seems odd that
It
it's
just
there.
sounds like a good number.
Yeah, 2's a nice number.
I'll take it. Just seems like
2.
odd.
It's the magic number.
No, Seth, it's 3. 3 is the magic number. I'm actually...
God. 14th level, Supreme Healing. You just feel like a giant health potion at this point, basically. When you would normally roll 1 or more dice to restore hit points to a creature with a spell that you cast with a spell slot, don't roll those dice for the healing. Instead, use the highest number possible for each die. For example, instead of restoring 2d6 hit points, you get it, right? That's sick. That is absolutely incredible. The idea you could cast 3rd level, 4th level Cure Wounds, just get this massive amount of healing. Any spell
First
you
level
do,
even is just a base
First
8
level.
hit points plus your modifier stuff.
that's juicy.
Amazing. It's amazing.
It comes up to the point where a lot of the time, being a medic, right, being a healer in D&D, it's not always necessarily worth it to heal, because they're just going to get knocked back down again, or especially if they're at low hit points, you often want to wait until someone's down. The Life Domain Cleric, for me, is the prime example of, no, you can heal mid-fight. If you heal 3 or 4 people, or you heal just this massive amount for minimal resources, that's insane mid-fight. You can make that fight last so much longer. So Supreme Healing is by far my favorite thing that goes on in Life Domain.
This is the healer that the boss starts to go for because they get annoyed.
Yes, immediately.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, it's like, you go through 2 or 3 rounds and then all of a sudden the cleric heals everybody back up and the boss is like, shit.
Gotta take him out.
I gotta take him out. Exactly.
Which is where taking that Protector Holy Order comes
Well,
in.
it's a good thing you're a Goliath, a Frost Goliath, and you can slow them down a lot.
Stupid connection. The old game Evolve. The healer on the team, you always had to kill them first because they would heal the whole team. It's a 4v1 where one person's the monster, and 4 people are the survivors, the hunters, if you will, right? There was actually an enemy. The first enemy you fight is the Goliath. It is a Goliath that chases you down, and you have to kill the healer in this game. If you don't kill the healer, you lose. There's nothing you can do about it. So
yeah,
this is going to make you feel very strong and important in the party. I think so anyway. So Life Domain Cleric, it's simple, which that's kind of what I like about it. It's very simple to understand. You're just doing more
Cleric
healing.
as you understand Cleric.
Yeah, the baseline, standard, default, and they touched on that in the main conference as well.
It's the most Cleric.
It is the standard Cleric, the most cleric-y cleric you can cleric, which is cool. I'm into it. It's neat. I'm honestly excited to see more. That's
Yeah,
kind of what I'm starved for, is just seeing more channel divinities. I want to see the Tempest. I want to see the Nature Cleric. I want to see the War Cleric.
So let's finish it out here. Your guys' final thoughts on this Unearthed Arcana overall. How did you feel about it?
I feel like we need to talk about the spells.
Oh no!
Oh, there are a few spells. I'm sorry.
Seth, don't.
We were getting
censor us.
long-winded, so I thought we were wrapping up. You know, I don't have the PDF in front of me like you guys.
Yeah. Well, first thing, so most of the spells that have been revised here are cleric spells. So we'll just do a quick little rundown. So Aid, one of our favorite spells at the table.
Use it all the time.
Yeah, it's different now.
Breaks our game now.
Yeah, it's it breaks our shenanigans is what it breaks. Now Aid in the player's handbook, you add 5 hit points to 3 creatures' hit point maximum. So essentially, you choose 3 creatures. Their hit point maximum is increased by 5, and they also heal for that same amount. Now, your spell bolsters creatures, filling them with resolve. Choose up to 6 creatures within range, and each target gains 5 temporary hit points. So now it's 6 total creatures as opposed to 3, but it's only 5 temporary hit points.
And then I guess if
strong.
you level it up, you get more and more temporary hit points.
Yeah, it increases by 5 temporary hit
I
points
honestly
each time.
do like that better. I'm okay with the way we use it now. It's cool. I think it's fun that you guys can all do that like big buff of healing. But I do intend on probably just using the new one when One D&D comes out. So
yeah, I agree. I think it's a necessary change because of all the shenanigans we can get into. For instance, I am a 10th plus level artificer with a spell storing item. I get 10 of these suckers that I just throw out all the time.
Which, to be fair,
50, or I'm sorry, it's 150 points of healing for free every time.
Which, to be fair, it could be Cure Wounds too. Like, you could also be doing that consistently. So it's not like it's insane. I mean, yeah, it's pretty nice to just have a healing wave like Lucio in Overwatch just throws out 5 every now, like over and over again.
Yeah.
That's cool. But like, I mean, yeah, if it was Cure Wounds, it would still be a healing 10 times.
Oh, for sure. So, take it or leave it. I feel like I'm fine with the change to Aid. No problems at all. The next one, Drew, do you want to talk about this one? I know it's one of both of our favorite spells.
This is gonna hurt me a little bit if we're talking about banishment.
It is banishment.
So what did they change?
Now, it's still very strong. But they did nerf it. They nerfed banishment.
Significantly. It's poopy. It's bad. I hate it.
No. Explain it to me, because I didn't read through all the spells and stuff. I read the species and I read the subclass and the class.
Okay, so as is, let's just regular banishment right now. Right?
Love it.
Banishment, beautiful, 4th level spell. You can even upcast it, right? So just base level banishment, though. You pick a target, charisma saving throw. If they fail, they are sent into another plane of existence where they're held there until your concentration ends, or you release them, basically. If they are not from this plane, if they come from somewhere else, so for example, in the material plane, and it is a fiend of some sort, a devil, right? If you banish them for the full minute, they go away and do not come back, right?
They go back to
spell.
hell.
They go back to hell. Very strong, very powerful, keeps people out of the game, and honestly, charisma saving throw is really solid, which they didn't get rid of. But, the new banishment is a little different. Now, it doesn't last for the full minute. They actually get to repeat their saving throws while they're banished.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is a 4th level spell slot for a single target shutdown spell? This is worse than Entangle. A 1st level spell, I can remove someone's action for a turn. If they just get to make another save at the end of their next turn, like Entangle gets creatures in a radius. What is this shit? It's bad.
Yeah.
But if by some miracle they do fail 10 charisma saving throws, then if they're an aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, or fiend, then they don't return. They're instead transported to a random location on a plane associated with their creature type. So, okay, I like the specificity of the creature types. I think that's okay. But it really just ruins the whole point of banishment, which is to, send this creature back from whence it came. If you're in hell and you banish it, it's gonna come back to right where it is. I mean, on the one hand, I do like the element of, okay, they failed 10 charisma saves. There better be something I get out of this. But how do you make that happen?
So
I don't know.
Here's my thoughts then, just having heard this for the first time. I think this is the change I'm going to propose when I do my survey, I think. If you want to slightly nerf it, then, we can slightly nerf it. We'll say they make one save at the beginning, and they make one save after the minute has passed. We don't do 10 saves. That's too many saves for the creature to get. They don't get that many chances, okay? If you're banishing my creature, I want you to banish my creature. Like, I think it's fun. Like, whenever Pyth pulls out a sick bait, you're a 4th level spell for a shutdown for 1 or 2 rounds probably is not worth it. Absolutely not. I think it would be apt, though, to be like, okay, we know in a minute as he holds his concentration that this creature has a chance to come back. Let's make sure it can't. Like, you save up all your abilities to make it, use the lucky feat to make it re-roll. Ooh, it's still going to pass. We're going to use Portent and make it go down so it still fails. Okay, sick, the creature's gone. Now it's still a little more fun. Like, if we want to change banishment, I feel like that's the most we should go. Is be like, hey, they make a save at the beginning. If they're from another plane of existence, they make another save to come back or not. Boom, done.
I think that's fair. I think it's a good proposition. I do feel like they're focusing on the wrong part of the spell. So I feel like, to be perfectly honest, as someone who casts banishment frequently, the strength in banishment is not that they do not come back. I really don't think that's the strength. It's great, but it's the idea that I can upcast it and pick more targets, which they didn't nerf. So that just seems strange. Like, I can cast a 6th level banishment and make 3 people go away. That's intense, right? But instead they focused on the more nitty-gritty core part of the spell, which is weird, the actual banishment part. So I just think it's a little odd.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate everything about it. I think banishment before, I mean, there are some questions that come up. So maybe they're trying to tackle this from okay, let's make sure that it's explicit about how this works. Like, okay, well, maybe this demon was born on the material plane. So does it go back to the abyss? Like, what's the deal with that? Okay, fine. But just functionally, for a 4th level spell slot, I mean, yeah, I'll say it. It's the best 4th level spell, but but it's not a.
It's a cool spell though.
Yeah, it's not worth a 5th level slot, and God damn it, it's cool. It's the coolest spell. Honestly, it's probably my favorite spell. You can't touch it.
It's one of my favorite spells. I love banishment to death. Like, anytime a player picks it, I'm ecstatic because I think it's a great shutdown spell. We've seen it used in many different campaigns at this point, and it's cool whenever, like, in Storm Kings, when you guys were fighting against the ice giants in the middle of the ocean, white dragons are falling from the sky after being killed by the cloud giants, and you guys are going up against Jarl
Storvald.
Jarl Storvald on his ship. As he comes out, you guys are like, fuck you, and you banish him and kill all his buddies, and then by the time he comes back, no one is there, and he's like, I give up.
Yeah,
that's the coolest thing.
Not only
really
that,
sick.
but his homie picked me up and was like, "Ooh, you filthy Dex paladin, you couldn't escape my grapple." And I said, "I don't need to. You're banished."
Oh, that was so good. What a good... I am so impressed you knew his name off the top of your head. I definitely remember his name.
Yeah, it's a little embarrassing because I don't remember important things. but Jarl Storvald, yeah, he's in here.
I can't believe I didn't remember. I read his name so many times.
To be honest, the reason I remember that is because he had that sick haste potion that he drank.
Yes.
I was like, oh no. Because we had him cornered in that room. We're like, oh, we got this guy. We're going to take him down. And then he chugs a haste potion. I'm like, shit, what are we supposed to do now? You know?
Yeah, I was excited about that. So, other spells.
Yeah. Let's get through the rest of these. So Barkskin. Let's see. It was adjusted before. I wonder if it's different at all.
This might be the second time it changed. To be perfectly honest, I still like the spell. Basically, just give people temporary hit points. It's honestly the ideal spell. I feel like for a support ranger. If you just want to pop Barkskin and a couple of people that are frontlining, that way every round at the beginning of the turn they get temporary hit points. You stand back in the trees, firing your bow off.
Oh, and it's a bonus action.
And it's a bonus. So you can still take your shots afterwards, too.
Okay. I'm a big fan of that.
I dig it. It's simple and it's upcastable, so why not? Why not?
Let's see other spells. I know they did readjust guidance.
Yes,
again.
yes.
So in the previous Unearthed Arcana, it was a 30-foot range that they had on guidance, and now it's a reaction anytime someone fails an ability check. Now it's a 10-foot range, which I honestly think is appropriate. And the reason why I think that is because they've also added resistance in this Unearthed Arcana, and resistance functions in the same way. It's a 10-foot range on a failed saving throw. I feel like that's appropriate just based on it's a cantrip. It's not, it isn't Flash of Genius. It isn't these other abilities that give that similar effect. It's not a Bardic Inspiration as it works now. So I think it's appropriate to limit that range just because we don't want the Bard and the Cleric to be fighting for the same thing. The fact that it's a 10-foot range, I think, is perfectly appropriate. And
to be perfectly fair, it's a reaction cantrip, so it's already very strong. If they wanted to make it like touch or something, I would say it's still viable. The 10-foot range is pretty sick. I don't know if you heard the argument, Zach. People are saying that they may do the same thing with True Strike, but with your attack rolls. So I'm kind of pumped considering True Strike
a
is
reaction True Strike to give someone else advantage.
Or I think it would be a D4. So similar. So guidance, you get a D4 for ability checks, right? Resistance, you get a D4 for saving throws. And what they're saying is supposedly True Strike will give you a D4 on your attack rolls.
Okay, I think that's awesome.
I love that. I like that we have this weird trio of spells that are kind of not super used, especially resistance and True Strike, and actually getting some use out of them, actually some extra options for our cantrips, is pretty sick, especially something that no one's ever used before, really.
Yep. I think the last one, unless there's any other spells you can think of or find, Drew, is Prayer of Healing. And I will let you talk about that one.
Seth, I hope you're ready for this spell.
Yes, I do want to hear this one.
So, if you recall, the old Prayer of Healing, it's that one. I feel like it's kind of a niche, to be honest. It's its own sort of spell because it takes 10 minutes, I think, to cast this healing spell. So you could be traveling with your party members, right? You're sitting on horseback or whatever you may be doing. Maybe you're even taking like a little short rest or something, right? And you could just be praying and getting this healing magic up. You cast it on everybody in your party, get a little bolster of health, right? It's solid. It's a second level spell. It sounds a little undoable because it takes so long to cast, but you do it in your free time, right? It's a little aura of vitality. It's a kind of vibe. But it no longer does just that anymore. Now, I'm gonna read the spell. I want to read it out because I want you to understand how strong it is right now. You utter an extended prayer of restoration. Choose a number of willing creatures equal to your spellcasting ability modifier, so up to 5. Each of those creatures who remains within range for the spell's entire casting gains the benefits of a short rest. Of a short rest. So the only...
It's like a group catnap.
Yes, but Catnap's a 3rd level spell, and this is a 2nd level spell.
Whoa.
So this is wicked strong. I mean, now, there is one drawback, and the only drawback that I see is you can't be affected by this spell again until that creature finishes a long rest. I think
so.
It's totally fine.
It's a short rest per day if you cast it.
Free 10-minute short rest, 2nd level. You're a full caster.
Yeah, I like it. And you know what? I'll say it. I don't think Catnap is a 3rd level spell. I think they put it at 3rd level in Xanathar's because all of the Xanathar spells were underpowered and they didn't want to rock the boat too much. But I think that adding this to Prayer of Healing makes it a spell that anyone will use, and it's definitely good. So I'm all for this change.
Yeah, I love it.
Honestly, super excited.
And it also makes it so that in game you don't like get up and leave the dungeon for an hour and then walk back into it. It's like, hey, let's all hang out here, block the door. I'm going to quickly do a prayer of healing, and then we'll go back out. Yeah,
giving you more options for that kind of shit. Because in our first campaign, that was nightmarish.
Yeah.
Was we just got our asses handed to us. We need to rest, or like we can't proceed, where we each have 1 hit point and no resources. The ability to say, all right, well, get your ass back up. Let's, get back in there. Because our DM at the time would definitely interrupt any rest that we ever did with a random encounter. So you can't rest in the dungeon, absolutely not. So giving you this option, I think, is just the best.
Is neat. I like it. Gives you a lot of options in wherever setting you may be in. I do want to give an honorable mention. I don't think we mentioned spiritual weapon.
Yeah. Okay, I purged this one from my mind because I didn't like it. But it makes sense. So. The only tangible changes that I saw, they changed the wording because the original spiritual weapon did say that it was a spectral weapon that appears, which implies that someone might be able to pick it up and like wield it. Now they make it clear that it is a force that resembles a weapon. So it is not a weapon. It is not privy to any of the rules that apply to weapons. It is specifically a force. But the thing that I'm disappointed about is now it's concentration. Before it was not concentration. And here's the thing, and why I sort of forgot about it. I thought I could swear spiritual weapon was concentration before, because it definitely seems like a spell that should have that.
Was it not?
It wasn't. And now I feel like whatever next character I play before One D&D comes out, it's got to be a cleric, so I can get my use out of that no concentration spiritual weapon.
I could not agree with you more, Zach, because I looked at this and I heard the reviews online. People like, oh, I'm so upset. It's a concentration now. I 100% thought it was concentration, which is the reason I've never taken it, right? I would rather have my Aura Vitality up or some, crazy long-term healing spell, some debuff, some buff.
Spirit Guardians?
Literally any other cleric spell you could have. It's a little nuts. I'm glad they're doing it, to be honest. I think it's a just change, but it's disappointing to see that I can't, exploit things and murder people.
Here's the thing. I'm surprised that Spirit Guardians didn't show up in here, because they definitely need to change the wording on that. Because
I want it to stay powerful forever.
No, but rules as written, it doesn't make sense for it to take effect both on your turn and the start of the creature's turn before they get to do anything. That's like 2 third-level spells going off at the same time.
Yeah.
So that definitely needs to be fixed. So, Jeremy, I'm surprised at you.
I'm surprised.
I am surprised by you, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's like I'm his dad, and he just turned in a weird report card.
So, with that, guys, thoughts on the One D&D Unearthed Arcana? For me, I personally like a lot of the stuff here. I'm a fan of a lot of the new changes to the races, to the classes. I feel like I'm astounded by the progress we're making with the game, because a lot of it seems to be in the spirit of fun and creativity, which I like. Yeah, some of the wording and stuff is a little nuts and needs to be changed, but other than that, I'm gonna give this one a B- to me compared to the others. I think this might be my least favorite one so far, just because I loved most everything on the expert classes. Everything in there was so cool, such great revising to the former stuff. This didn't blow me away with anything. When I read The Thief, I was blown away by it. Stuff like that. I want to be blown away by it. This I wasn't blown away by. I was like, yeah, it's the cleric. It seems
it's because you've never played a cleric.
I played an arcane cleric, guys. We've talked about this many times. I didn't like it.
Like the worst one.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, and it wasn't fun.
I think I'm a little
I'm just
impressed.
Not a cleric player, okay?
And I'll give my review here. I think this is probably one of my more favorite ones. Maybe that's because I'm biased, right? And I love the cleric, but I think they took a class that is not super played. I think cleric's probably one of the less played classes at D&D overall, but it's still a staple, right? I think they made it much stronger. It feels much more cleric-y, and that theme kind of also goes into the species that we're talking about now, the heritages, right? These Dragonborn, these Goliaths, they just feel more of what they should be, what they're named after. They're giants, they're dragons, right? The cleric, this is a healing cleric. I feel like they're making it very, very simple. I like it, but also they're giving us more. They're giving us more abilities, more options. The only thing I really don't like, and what really drags down my rating, I feel like, is every time one of these comes out with all this new content, I feel like they keep shitting on my spells. Stop it. Stop doing it. I feel like they hurt my aid. They hurt my banishment. Some of my favorite spells to
I feel
cast.
is unjustified. Aid, I feel like is okay.
Aid, I think
agree.
is totally fine. We definitely abuse the crap out of that. But banishment, man?
Nah,
Come
4th level
on.
spell, you can't nerf it like that.
So, I'd give it I'll give it a B+. I'll give it a B+.
I like that.
Well, Jeremy, I'm impressed because you got an A in the cleric. But your father and I were talking, and we're really disappointed that you turned in a D for that banishment and that banishment alone. The rest of it, I'll say that I was impressed with the Ardling. You brought that up from a C to a B, so that's a good job there. And then the Goliath, it was a weird left turn thing, but I'll give you a B for that as well. So all in all, we've got a B average. We'll call it a B average.
Yeah. So, but all of us here at the table, B average is pretty good.
Okay.
Do love that Cleric though.
I'm a little worried. The next one, sneak peek, guys. The next one's supposed to be much bigger. Lots more content, lots more options.
I want to read more.
I know, but
what's the next one? I believe it was teased. And keep me honest, the warrior classes, is that what's next?
I don't know.
See, I had heard it was going to be the rest of the priests. It was going to be the
It
druid
might
and
be
the
the
paladin.
rest of the priests.
We'll see.
Thank you guys so much for listening to Table Talk Friday, a D&D podcast. If you want to get more Table Talk Friday, a D&D podcast content, you can find us on TikTok at Table Talk Friday, on YouTube at Table Talk Friday, and on Twitter at Table Talk Friday. But as I repeated last time, oh my God, we're not going to be on Twitter for very long. I'm going to delete that account ASAP because I'm not paying for a blue check mark, I swear. Anyways, you can also find us on patreon.com/TableTalkFriday for any bonus content like the post show that may or may not be present after this one if we record something extra later. And other than that, I think we need for Clarence, the cleric, to take us out.
Hey fellas, you want to see something cool? Well, I've got a divine spark just for you. Ooh. Oh my God! I meant to heal you, but I hurt you instead. Oh jeez! Oh, I'm just a level 1 cleric. I didn't know how to do that right. Oh my God! Oh my God! I mean Lathander. Oh my Lathander. That's what I meant to say because I don't. It's D&D.